Hello and welcome. You're watching Explosive Exclusive. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, seats from across the country voted, 102 of them in the largest ever phase. But one of the most significant fights that everyone will be looking at is the one in Uttar Pradesh, because this state with 80 seats holds the key for whether the BJP will come anywhere close to their prediction of 400 par. And that's why today it was in Uttar Pradesh that the Prime Minister made a prediction for which way the wind is blowing. Today, 8 seats in UP voted. The PM held a rally in Amroha, barely 3 hours drive away. In Amroha, before a crowd of cheering BJP workers, perhaps in the most unequivocal prediction he has made so far, the PM said this time Uttar Pradesh will break the records of even 2014 and 2019 and make the kind of history that hasn't been seen so far.
यूपी के सांसद के नाते मेरे अनुभव से मैं कहता हूं कि अब 7 साल से यहां योगी जी की सरकार है और 19 में तो उनको 2 साल ही काम करने का मौका मिला था। अभी तो 7 साल में उन्होंने यूपी में ये दिखा दिया है कि गवर्नेंस क्या होता है, कानून व्यवस्था क्या होती है, विकास क्या होता है। और इसलिए मैंने कहा लिख लो, योगी जी के नेतृत्व में 14 का रिकॉर्ड टूटेगा, 19 का रिकॉर्ड टूटेगा और 14 और 19 दोनों रिकॉर्ड तोड़ करके इस बार उत्तर प्रदेश नया इतिहास बनाने वाला है।
Remember, today there are 8 seats of Uttar Pradesh that went to polls. All 8 of them are in western UP. These seats are Saharanpur, Kairana, Muzaffarnagar, Bijnor, Nagina, Moradabad, Rampur and Pilibhit. We will discuss each one of these seats one by one and try and gauge which way the winds are going. All of these seats are considered tricky for the BJP given the combination of Jats and Muslims in them. Also, this time around, the SP and Congress are fighting together in these elections, which is why the alliance is confident that the first day itself will herald a flop show for the BJP.
यूपी में एक बार फिर 2 शहजादों की जोड़ी, उनकी फिल्म का शूटिंग चल रहा है आजकल और ये 2 शहजादों की फिल्म का पहले ही रिजेक्शन हो चुका है। हर बार ये लोग परिवारवाद, भ्रष्टाचार और तुष्टीकरण की टोकरी उठाकर यूपी की जनता से वोट मांगने निकल पड़ते हैं। अपने इस अभियान में ये लोग हमारी आस्था पर हमला करने का कोई मौका नहीं छोड़ते। यहां जो कांग्रेस के प्रत्याशी हैं, उन्हें तो भारत माता की जय बोलने तक में आपत्ति थी।
पहले चरण में मतदान हो रहा है। जो पहले चरण से खबरें आ रही हैं, उससे महसूस हो रहा है कि इस बार पश्चिम की हवा भारतीय जनता पार्टी का पूरा सफाया करने जा रही है। और लग तो ये रहा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का पहला शो ही फ्लॉप हो गया है। न केवल इनका शो फ्लॉप हो गया है, बल्कि इनके घिसे पिटे डायलॉग भी जनता सुनना नहीं चाहती है। जो अब तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग कहानी बना रहे थे, वो कहानी भी अब कोई सुनना नहीं चाहता है। और इधर पिछले 10 साल में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो पहचान बनी है।
All right, so whose prediction will come true? Will Western UP will be first day, first show being flop, as Akhilesh Yadav predicted, or pave the way? Will it be the first step of 7 in order to get a record number as the Prime Minister predicted. Let's start by telling you what the voter turnout is like in each of the 8 seats which have polled today in Uttar Pradesh, starting with Saharanpur, which had a voting percentage of 63.29%. In 2019, this was at 70.87%. So remember, this is not the final number. This is the turnout as of 5 p.m. So in the last few hours, you will see a correction. It will go up. Right now, it's quite healthy, 63%. Kairana is at 58%. Muzaffarnagar is at 54.91%. Kairana 58%. Muzaffarnagar 54.91%. Last time it was 68%. Bijnor is at 54.68% from an earlier 2019 figure of 66.22%. Nagina is at 58%. Last time around, it was 63%. So all of these figures are pretty close to the 2019 figure. By the time the day ends, you can expect it to pretty much match up to the 2019 figure. Muradabad is at 57.65%. Last time it was at 65%. Rampur is at 52.42%. Seems a tad lesser than one would expect, because last time it was at 63%. And Pilibhit is again quite healthy at 60.23%. In 2019, it was at 67.41%. Let me open this up. Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, Jai Amrukh, cephalogist, with me in the studio, political analyst and somebody who keeps his finger on the pulse of what's happening on the ground. Tushar Gupta here with me. Let's get started one by one, because we will discuss each one of these seats and see whose prediction is closer to the truth. We're talking about the 8 seats of Western Uttar Pradesh. The first one is Bijnor. Very interesting seat. Jay, would you like to start by talking about it? This time around, Chandan Chauhan from the RLD has been fielded. Remember, this is one of the seats that has been given to the new alliance partner, Jayant Chaudhary. So Chandan Chauhan has been fielded here. The sitting MP was Maluk Nagar of the BSP, has now joined the RLD. Deepak has been fielded from Samajwadi Party and Vijender Singh from the BSP. Who do you think right now has their nose ahead? Jay.
Well, see, the seat was won marginally by the BSP last time. It was a part of a smart deal that Mayawati worked out, where she took the more winnable and more minority dominant seats. This, incidentally, is also the seat that sent Mayawati to the Lok Sabha in 1989. I think even if there is a small dip in the voter turnout, a separation of the SP and BSP vote would ensure that the BJP, along with the combined vote that the RLD brings in, should more or less be able to go through in this constituency. So that's what it looks like. I think a minor dip in the vote turnout will not make a lot of difference.
But did Bijnor vote for the candidate or did it vote for Behenji? Because if that is the case, Jay, then a BSP candidate here would dent Chandan Chauhan's chances, wouldn't it?
No, you look, in a national election, the vote is always, it's gubernatorial. It's always for the prime ministerial candidate. So I think,
I don't think Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi are going to agree. They want to make it into a caste census local election. You are saying it's going to be on the face of Mr. Modi. Nobody in India is going to like that idea. Let's quickly pivot to the next seat. The next seat we are going to talk about is Kairana. The Prime Minister, incidentally, and I'm sure calculatedly, Shekhar Iyer spoke about Kairana. Interesting seat again, because this is where the exodus had been alleged. Ikra Hassan Chaudhary earlier had her father, her late father, who had represented this seat on the Samajwadi Party ticket. Then her brother, if I'm not mistaken. And now this young lady who has studied in my college, actually, Lady Shri Ram College, and subsequently went abroad to study, is fighting on an SP ticket. Shekhar Iyer, what do you make of this fight? Large Jat population, large Muslim population. Who is ahead?
Well, considering that the Yogi impact is also there on in these parts of Uttar Pradesh, and also the fact that the Jat votes have now consolidated on one side, particularly with the alliance of RLD and BJP. My own sense is that the BJP is ahead in this constituency because of the division of votes, as well as the the pull that the Prime Minister will be exerting on the voters, as well as the double impact of Yogi and Modi, which is also being felt in Western UP.
But you
on the issues
think
of law and order,
sir,
which is still a primary issue.
You think, sir, the Jat votes have moved with Jayant Chaudhary?
Was a primary issue even in the assembly elections. Padmaja.
Tushar Gupta, you think the Jat votes have moved with the RLD? Because some people I was speaking to also said कि जाट जो लोकल हैं थोड़े से नाराज हैं कि जयंत चौधरी फिर से पलट गए चवन्नी की तरह.
अगर पलटने की बात हो रही है फिर तो पूरा बिहार नाराज होना चाहिए. बट देन लुक, these news about people being angry, communities being angry, they keep coming up every time there's a Lok Sabha election. ये नाराज है, वो नाराज है, और नाराजगी होती भी है. पर जब पोलिंग के दिन कोई बटन दबाता है, वो अपनी नाराजगी के ही बल पे उस बटन को नहीं दबाता. They're thinking about a lot of factors in their head. I think when the alliance was stitched, the NDA knew what they were doing. The leadership of the BJP also knew what they were doing. I think the constituency will turn this time.
Okay, the constituency will turn. Let's take a look at the next seat, Moradabad. Now, very, very interesting seat. Would you want to have a go at Moradabad? Because here is a seat where you had a sitting MP of the Samajwadi Party who is sulking in a corner because apparently one chartered plane took off from Lucknow with a symbol for ST Hassan. But the symbol never reached him. It reached Ruchi Veera, who is a candidate of Azam Khan, who is himself angry because his candidate was not given a ticket in Rampur. Let me ask you broadly, these two seats have the Azam effect. On Moradabad and in Rampur, who is going to win?
It's going to be the BJP. Look, there is a lot of infighting between the Samajwadi Party.
But these are Muslim majority seats. You've got almost 51% Muslim population on both of these seats.
Fair enough. But then there is also counter-polarization. There's also division of vote we need to understand.
No, but if that was the case, then how was Moradabad won by ST Hassan all of these years?
No, again, I'm talking about a counter-polarization. I'm talking about the divisions within the SP also. And from what a lot of reporters on the ground are gauging, there are some Muslim votes that are also shifting towards the BJP. This is also going to be one of the remarkable stories this election.
Tushar Gupta, I hear of this theory every election that 0.04% of Muslim vote
I'm not saying it's going to be a landslide for the BJP, but there will be a significant vote share, enough to cause a difference for the BJP, a positive difference that will swing. Okay. There is a lot of problem within the Samajwadi Party as well.
Jemruk, are we seriously to believe that Azam Khan supporters are going to vote for the BJP?
No. Let me qualify what Tushar is saying and what you were also trying to say. One is, this is not a very traditional seat of the SP. They have won it last time as an alliance. In 2014, the seat has gone to the BJP. Now, if you look at the landscape today, the SP and the BSP are not together. You have to realize that the 2019 victory was on the back of that alliance. So, then to be fair to Tushar, he does have a point, and a meritorious point, that the BJP might just be able to sneak through. Now, to put in perspective your other point regarding getting Ruchi Veera over there at the last minute, you have to realize that this was also some sort of a footsie play by the Samajwadi Party, which was waiting for the BJP to declare its candidate and then change its own candidate immediately so as to try and attract some Thakur vote, which is Ruchi Veera, is a Rajput. Okay, so yeah, that's another perspective where they are also trying to angle for the Hindu
she's
vote,
from
not
Bijnor.
that the BJP is angling for the Muslim vote.
I mean, why have they parachuted her there? She doesn't even belong to that place. Her husband runs factories or education institutions in Bijnor. Nobody knows her in Moradabad.
Well, I think this entire geography, Padmaja, we have to look at a little bit of parachuting, and it is a holistic geography. Look at Rampur. The SP candidate of Rampur is from a mosque, which is very, very close to, from the Central Avenue here, close to Parliament. So I think they've juggled all across. So.
Okay. I think the bigger question also is, who are the Muslims in Uttar Pradesh voting for? Let's take a look at the next seat, which again has a sizable population of Muslims. But another very interesting factor here, of course, is the Jat factor. Sanjeev Balyan, reportedly facing a lot of protests, has been fielded again by the BJP. Harendra Malik has been fielded by Samajwadi Party. Dara Singh Prajapati from the BSP. Nagina from the BJP The candidate is Om Kumar, Manoj Kumar, Samajwadi Party, and Chandrasekhar, who has come under huge attack from Akash Anand, the nephew and now the chief face of the BSP. He is contesting from here on the Azad Samaj Party ticket. In Pilibhit, of course, we have Jitin Prasada, who has been fielded in place of Varun Gandhi. So let's pull up Pilibhit as well. You've got Jitin Prasada fielded there versus Bhagwat Saran Gangwar and Anis Ahmed Khan. In Rampur, as we have already spoken, Azam Khan earlier wanted Akhilesh Yadav to contest, but that did not happen. Instead, the Imam of Jama Masjid in Delhi was parachuted into Rampur, Mohibullah, to contest on Samajwadi Party ticket, and Ghanshyam Lodhi, a backward face, has been fielded by BJP. Zishan Khan from the BSP is there. And finally, let's take a look at Saharanpur, where Raghav Lakhanpal, who had lost the last election, 2014 he won, young educated face, lost in 2019, again being given a chance. Imran Masood, who has gone from Congress to SP to Congress, now back, he's been fielded by the Congress. Priyanka Gandhi took out a rally for him. Rahul Gandhi was there. Majid Ali from the BSP. The lakh take ka question though, Shekhar Iyer, who are the Muslims of Uttar Pradesh voting for? Are they voting for Samajwadi Party and Congress, or are they voting for BSP? Or, as Tushar said, a part of it is voting for BJP.
Well, Padmaja, I think here what is going to happen in Rampur is, given the kind of blow-cold relationship between Azam Khan and as well as Akhilesh Yadav and frequent change of candidates, there is a lot of confusion on the ground. So I don't see Muslim votes going to any other party, but definitely in case of Rampur, it will get divided, because those who feel, that they should be backing, say, Samajwadi Party, and then there is a BSP. See, Mayawati has also made last-minute changes depending on whom the Sapa put or the BJP put. Because she has also worked out a strategy here. And you just mentioned Akash Anand criticizing Ravan, Chandrasekhar Azad Ravan. See, she has been openly saying that Chandrasekhar Azad Ravan has been propped up by the BJP, and this time his fledgling party, has a lot of resources. So which goes to show that somewhere along the role of Chandrasekhar Azad is more of a vote katua. That's also a factor that the BSP has been constantly saying, to tell its core voters to be beware of, wasting their vote.
There is a B team certification agency within the Congress which identifies B teams of the BJP, which also, by the way, includes Pinarayi Vijayan in Kerala. So Pinarayi Vijayan is BJP's B team. Chandrasekhar Azad is the B team among Dalits. And of course, Asaduddin Owaisi has been certified B team among Muslims. But I want to take a quick word from you, Tushar, on the issue of Muzaffarnagar. Sanjeev Balyan, we were told, has been booed. His vehicle was attacked. He said there was an attempt on my life. How bad is the anger, and how much will the infighting between Sangeet Som and him? Sangeet Som, Rajput, Sanjeev Balyan, Jat.
Muzaffarnagar has always been a high-profile constituency, even at the assembly level. Even when in 2022 state assembly elections, we were going around there, it was all about the Jat vote. Will it consolidate behind the BJP, or will there be division? Because in Western UP, Padmaja, it's a very simple route. If the minority vote consolidates and the Hindu vote divides, it's not going to be an easy victory for the BJP. But that has not happened in 2022 at least. It happened for a few seats in 2019 against the BJP. In 2014, it did not happen. So it's been varying all along.
He lose? Could he lose? You've got Harendra Malik opposite him. Could he lose?
No. Where he could win...
Sangeet Som make him lose?
No. Where he could win is the division of votes between the SP and the BSP. Because last time also, again, Western UP is a very tricky region. It's always a victory of slim margins. But when it becomes a three-way contest, when you end up dividing the minority vote, that is where the opportunity opens up for the BJP.
Okay, so we've looked at the 8 seats today. So far, according to our experts, the Prime Minister seems to be correct. Akhilesh Yadav, not so much, because these 8 seats, whether by a wide margin or a smaller one, seem to be going in the direction of what the PM said, that UP could be on the verge of breaking the records it set in 2014 and 2019. That's it then from me, but I'll see you again at 8 on India Upfront, where we take a look at 20 seats we've selected of the 102 that polled from across the country, and we are trying to go and stick our necks out and analyze where those seats are going to go. I'll see you then.